Oh my god, this is going to be another polemic video. Here we go. Here we go. Hello guys, this is Joana Saahirah with another video inspired by dancers from all over the world. This one is about spirituality in Egyptian dance. Dun, 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 dun. Or, is Egyptian dance spiritual? So this question came up in one of my courses at Joana Saahirah's online dance school. And for me, it has always been something so natural that I hardly question it. And one of the things that I like the most about teaching is that questions I never made for myself suddenly are made by students. And they make me think about those issues, which for me were never a source of curiosity or questioning, because they're so obvious to me, okay? And spirituality is one of those subjects, man, oh man, that can be quite problematic and at the same time so at the core of Egyptian dance as I know it, okay? So let's start by stating that Egyptian dance is, as I've mentioned in many videos and many kinds of works that I've done around the world, a multidimensional language. Why? Because we humans are multidimensional beings and we humans dance. We are the ones who are doing the dance. Unless you have a couple of aliens at home and they're the one doing the dance and you're watching and applauding. In that case, we have to redo this video. But if you're the one dancing and you're a human being, you are a multidimensional being and your dance will be equally multidimensional. What does it mean multidimensional? It means physical. It means mental. It means emotional. And it means spiritual, because we are composed of these different sides or dimensions. So, Egyptian dance as a human language is also multidimensional. Yes? If we have that in consideration, then we include spirituality in it. Because if one of the dimensions is the spirit, the soul, that which cannot be seen, energy, God, whatever you may like to call it, then obviously Egyptian dance is a spiritual dance. But it's more complicated than that, of course. So let's start with Egypt. In Egypt, if you say Raqs Sharqi, Egyptian dance, is a spiritual dance, you will have two possible reactions. One, people will laugh at you, or they will feel themselves offended. It will be an offense. Why? Because although Egypt is way older than Islam, Egypt has been an Islamic country, majority Islamic country, for a long time. So the mentality towards women, women's body, sexuality, sensuality, freedom, dance, music is highly influenced by Islam, which is, as you may know, totally against dance, totally against sensuality, totally against women exposing their body, exposing their voice, exposing their figure, exposing what they're feeling, what they're thinking. So this is not a comfortable subject for an Islamic society. Certainly not in Egypt, but I would say in any Islamic society or in any society where women and dance and music and art are seen as dangerous, as agents of disorder. Fitna in Arabic, in classical Arabic, fusha is called fitna, something that creates a disorder, a potential chaos. In any country where this is the case, Egyptian dance will not be regarded as spiritual, obviously, okay? So Egypt, which is supposed to be the birthplace of the dance, does not consider Egyptian dance spiritual at all. It's quite the opposite, okay? But if we go out of Egypt, let's go to the West, the civilized world, right? The so-called civilized world. We're also not so much more advanced. Of course, we are not under the influence of religion, conservative, twisted mentality anymore. We got rid of that mostly many years ago, but we're still under the prejudice against the freedom of women, against the freedom of speech, against the freedom of feeling, against women taking their own power and being individuals and having a voice. We're still not comfortable with that. So obviously, when it comes to Egyptian dance, assuming that it is a spiritual language, even in the West, even in the place where we consider ourselves more advanced, I think it's still something exotic, you know? It's still something people do not associate with, all right? On a personal level, I believe that Egyptian dance will be as spiritual as you are. Which means if you are not aware of your own soul, your own intuition, your own energy, your own higher dimension, whatever you like to call it, if you're not aware, there is a probability that you will not use it in your dance, because then again your dance is a reflection of who you are. So to answer the question, is Egyptian dance spiritual, I would have to give you different answers for different reasons, okay? So depending on the culture, it is or it is not. Depending on the person's mentality, it can be and maybe it's not. And depending on your own maturity as a person, as a human being, and how you understand the dance. So let's consider someone that thinks Egyptian dance is a sexy dance to do for their husband, lover, boyfriend, whatever. I have nothing against it, okay? For the record, don't burn me in the flames, okay? So I have nothing against it, sorry. But, this coffee is good. But let's imagine someone who has this image, which is very common, by the way, in Egypt and outside of Egypt, that Egyptian dance is something like an exotic striptease meant to seduce men, all right? I doubt that this person will see it as a spiritual language. Why? Because that is not the way this person is seeing the dance. That's not the purpose, the intention behind her moves or his moves. So it's really so much a matter of who you are, how aware of your own soul you are, and how you define Egyptian dance. For me, Egyptian dance has never been an exotic striptease kind of thing. It's always been a language of freedom, of extreme emotional connection with the music and with life and with my own body, with my own emotions, my own life. It has always been a tool of communion between me, the music, and people if I have an audience. It has always been a reuniting language in the sense that I can be fully myself, I can be in my body, I can be sensual, I can be intelligent, I can be energetic, I can be soulful, I can be emotional all at the same time. So this is how I define it. Naturally, for me, Egyptian dance is a spiritual language, and a physical language, and an emotional language, and an intellectual language. But that's because this is how I see it. So if this is how I see it, this is the intention I put into it when I do it, when I teach, when I perform, when I dance for myself. Yeah? So the question of spirit has so many sides and so many answers depending on the context. Yeah? But one thing is for sure, at least for me, at least in my mind, according to what I know so far, and I may be wrong, of course, you know, we're always learning and growing, and sometimes we find out that our conclusions, the ones we were so certain of, were not right after all. So I'm ready to be wrong anytime soon, but as far as I know, yes, Egyptian dance is a spiritual language, it's a multidimensional language, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. It is a dance that uplifts us, elevates us, without denying the body, without denying sensuality, without denying everything that makes us human. This is what it's so beautiful about it. It's because you have a lot of spiritual dances and music that deny the body, they deny the mind, they deny the emotions, they promise to separate you from your physical dimension, and that is not a proposal of Egyptian dance as far as I know it. It's a proposal of unity, of bringing all parts of the self together into one, in the middle, in a way that I can be physical, I can be intelligent, I can be emotional and I can be spiritual all at the same time. It's a soulful sensuality. It's an intelligent emotion. It's an emotional sensuality. It's a soulful physicality. It's all into one, bringing back the parts that have been separated, the true meaning of religion. Religare. This is a Latin word that means reunite, bring together that which was separated. And that, as far as I know, is Egyptian dance. I hope you think about this subject. Feel welcome to comment the video, send me emails. You know, your messages are always welcome. I take time to answer, but I always answer. And this is a fascinating subject, fascinating, and one that I am more and more in love with. So feel welcome to send me your feedback, your opinions, your disagreement. Feel welcome to participate in the subject, okay? This is how we grow together. Until then, I send you a big, big kiss. Feel welcome to subscribe the channel as well. And I'll see you soon somewhere around the world, okay? Kiss.